Hi, I'm Samantha Critchell, back for AP's Fashion at 4. Today is the last day of Fashion Week in New York. I am here at the Mercedes-Benz Lounge with Linda Wells, Editor-in-Chief of Allure magazine, to kind of wrap everything up. Thank you for coming.
Yay! It's over.
So now you have to think about it all. What are the first things that sort of come to mind about this Fashion Week?
There was a lot of color in the fashion, and there was a loosened up silhouette, and I feel like there were broader shoulders and kind of a rounded shoulder in terms of fashion. And then in terms of beauty, the hair was really slick. We saw lots of ponytails and lots of different ways to do ponytails, and that's always good because it's a great style. Everyone loves it. And we saw bright colors either on the lips or on the eyes. So we saw some trends. That was good.
Is there anything that your readers, real women, can take away from the runway, or is this just, all theatrical?
The runway is theatrical, but it's much more realistic in New York than it is in, say, Milan or Paris. And I think that it really has a lot of influence, but maybe the influence isn't so direct. It influences all of us in the magazine world, so we take all these trends and then duplicate them or photograph them or use them as inspiration for the next 5 months or so. And then all the stylists in LA take them and do them on the Hollywood people. So you see them on the celebrities. So it's one of those things that has a big ripple effect, and you can discount it as theatrical, but it really does influence people.
About how long does it take for a trend to catch on?
In beauty, it sometimes takes a little bit longer because it's the face, and you're dealing with something that's very personal. People really, ultimately, they want to look good. And so sometimes the weirder colors, the bright pink eyeshadow is just too bizarre. Lady Gaga, terrific, go right ahead and embrace it. But for the rest of us, they're like, oh, I don't know about that. So it happens in increments. And I'd say it could take 3 months before this really latches on and can kind of continue on for a couple of years. And beauty trends can last longer.
What is something that you feel like you would encourage real women to try, whether it's a new color or a new style?
I think these new ponytails are really beautiful, and there were some that I liked especially, and I thought the ones of Ralph Lauren were really beautiful, the way they were center parted and very slick and then very tight, and that's great. And then there were beautiful ones at Vera Wang that were almost kind of tucked into the back of the head and were a little bit puffy and dry and a little roughed up, and I thought those were incredible. So we saw a kind of variety of ponytail, and I think good, instead of just putting your gym ponytail on or your wash your face ponytail, you can actually put a little effort into this and have a really nice look.
Now, I know you've just celebrated your 20 years as a magazine, and you've done sort of a state of beauty. How does all this, the fashion, the beauty that we've seen here, jibe with what is going on, in the rest of the country?
We did an Allure beauty survey, and we talked to 2,000 men and women about their attitudes about beauty and what they really found attractive and how important beauty was in their life. And what was interesting was that everyone agreed, the majority of people agreed, it was a high percentage, that a multiracial, multi-ethnic face was the most attractive. And there was a huge number of people, a great majority, who believed that beauty is more important today than it's ever been. There's a greater emphasis on beauty, and there's a greater emphasis on looking young. And that sort of makes sense. I mean, beauty is, we're all here at these fashion shows. They're being telegraphed everywhere. The way we look is really important. Everyone's being interviewed. Everyone's thinking about the way they look. And so it's a much more vital part of life, I think, and people are recognizing it and not so apologetic about it. They recognize that, it's okay to care about the way you look. And it doesn't mean that you're not smart or you're not caring or you're not altruistic or all those other really important things. It just means that you do this as well. And that's something that you can add to your bag of tricks and use to your advantage if you want to.
What's changed in attitude sort of over time, about, I guess, this whole industry? I feel like it's much more in your face now. There's Project Runway. People are watching and streaming these runway shows. How has that changed how everybody else sees fashion and beauty?
There's a certain fast consumption to fashion and beauty that I think can be exciting because it's fast and energetic, but I also think can be to its detriment. We power through trends so quickly and discard them that things don't have a chance to sort of grow and develop and take hold, and then we're discarding them and we're going on to the next thing. So I feel like there's a real consumption and disposal that I don't think is always to the benefit of fashion. It's nice to have things percolate and feel like you can really enjoy them. And it's so funny how most fashion editors, we all wear black because we just can't. It's like you cycle through so many trends. If you buy that thing, you've already photographed it 20 times in your magazine, you've seen it on the runways, and then by the time you see it in the store, you're like, that old thing? So there's this kind of jadedness that comes with all that consumption, and I think we have to be careful of that.
Is there something in your own closet and wardrobe that is years old and you still wear?
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, I'm a real believer in wearing my clothes over, probably to a fault, over and over again, years and years and years. And I keep thinking, can I still drag that thing out? And at the Allure, we had a party to celebrate our 20th anniversary the other night, and a woman came and she was wearing a Tom Ford for Saint Laurent skirt that I still wear as well. And I was like, yay, you've got it on too, thank God. I mean, I sort of unapologetically bring this stuff out. I think it's great. When something is really attractive and I think wear it for as long as you can and enjoy it. And sometimes I put things away for a few years and then pull them out again just to give it a bit of a rest. But when I fall in love with something, it's like, it's good.
Is there something you saw this week, on the runways, whether it's a certain shape or a certain specific designer piece that you feel like you need to have it?
Yeah, there were a lot of things. I mean, I saw so many great coats that I'm just thinking, how many different coats can you have? What's nice about going to these fashion shows in this cold weather is that you pretty much could just wear a coat and wear nothing under it. You know what I mean? Coat and a pair of good shoes and you're done for the day. So I love the coats at Michael Kors, at Vera Wang. They were so beautiful, but there was just so many great coats. I just sort of don't even know where to stop and start. And it's great about a coat is it doesn't really matter. You don't have to be skinny, or you just put it on and it covers up a multitude of sins. So I saw a lot of coats. I saw a lot of dresses I liked. I just went to Loren Scott today, and there were some really sexy dresses that I thought were great, but they weren't naked, and I think that's kind of nice. It's nice not to have just a totally bare look. And now, of course, I can't remember anything else because it's the last day,
which you'll be celebrating soon. But you also put Victoria Beckham on this month's cover, and I'm wondering if you saw her clothes and sort of, how we can use her as, an inspiration both in her look but also in her design.
Yeah, we have Victoria Beckham. She's on our cover, and she is so great looking, and she's wearing the new ponytail, which was good. But her collection itself was so beautiful, and she does this really meticulous, beautifully cut collection of dresses. It's small and it's so desirable, and she's clearly thought about the body. She's so body conscious herself, and I just think it's her collection has this kind of discipline to it that is very appealing, and those are the kind of dresses you could wear again and again, and they're really flattering.
How do you decide who to put on the cover and what outfits they're going to wear?
A lot of it is who has a project that they're promoting, because it's good for the magazine if they've got something coming out to have some kind of attraction and heat attached to them. Just being on a magazine alone it's so much better to have accumulation of activities, whether it's an album release, and usually if it's music, you want someone who's got a few singles already released so that you're hitting it when the album is getting a peak, rather, because an album has a slower timing. So it's usually someone who has a movie or an album, and you want to kind of capitalize on the fact that they're going to be on all the talk shows and they're going to be holding up your magazine. And then what we decide to put on the cover is really just a matter of what they look good in, what they respond to. Some of the celebrities are really into fashion, like Victoria or Blake Lively. They care about what they wear, so they participate in the choices.
And what about deciding what you're going to wear? Because you have your photo in the magazine, you're photographed a million times, this week. How do you, and when do you decide what you're going to wear that day?
I usually decide that morning. And it's not a very well thought out process. It's kind of usually what fits. And it's a matter of the weather and what fits. And I think, okay, what do I have to do today? I have to go to 6 shows back and forth to the office, and I've got to go to a cocktail party, and so I don't like changing my clothes in the middle of the day. Who has time for that? So I usually try to put on something that can take me a bunch of different places, and maybe I have to change the handbag and the jewelry at some point in the night. But I like to make something work and then let it go forever.
And when will we know the trends that stick? I know that you leave for Milan and then Paris. Is there anything here that you think is going to make it the rest of the way?
I think we're going to see a lot of color, and I think we'll see a lot of these satin fabrics that we saw in this collection, the really great coats, the looser silhouette, those things I think we're going to see throughout. But it's always disorienting to start with New York, because New York is so sportswear. American fashion is so sportswear oriented, and when you get to Milan, it's a little bit more businesslike, and by the time you get to Paris, it's full creativity. And I think you need all those elements to figure out what the kind of perfect special sauce is going to be. So I feel like you have to wait till the last day of Paris, which is Louis Vuitton, which is a really influential collection, and you can't really make a lot of decisions until you get that last day. Chanel's the day before. It's a lot.
Well, I'm going to check in with you when you come back from Europe. I appreciate you coming.
Good.
I am Samantha Critchell for AP's Fashion at 4.